SKODA are prone to creating a new model. There aren't all that many survivors from the current lineup. Gone is the Roomster, Felicia, the Yeti, and now to be followed by the Rapid. The Scala isn't a replacement for the Rapid, it's a totally new car. The Scala is actually longer and wider than the Kia Ceed, Hyundai i30 and the Renault Megane, so it's not small. This is the first SKODA model based on the Volkswagen Group's MQB-A0 platform, which is shared across the whole group. This should make the car more affordable. The name Scala comes from Latin and it means stairs, ladder or scale depending on how you use it, but there's no doubt that this car does have a ladder to climb in terms of sales.
This one is powered by the 1 litre petrol engine. There's also a 1.5 litre engine and a 1.6 litre diesel. The diesel one they reckon will only sell about 10% of the market. The rest of it will be made up by this 1 litre engine, and it is a bloody good engine too, particularly coupled to the manual 6-speed box. As you can see from the rear end, it does bear a resemblance to the SKODA Rapid. It has that same sort of a drop line to the back. Now, SKODA call this a notchback. Not entirely sure what notchback means. Just looks like a hatchback to me, but a bit longer. A little bit longer than a hatchback. Good big boot in it, have to say, plenty of space in here. And you do get a spare wheel in there, a steel one. This electric tailgate is going to be an option, however. The price point of this car has to be somewhere early 20s in Ireland. It really does, because the SKODA Octavia exists, and that's kind of mid-20s. And then you have the Fabia, which is before the 20s, so this has to be in the middle, because this technically is around the size of a Golf, give or take. The bit I don't like is here. It's like a bit's been bolted on to this end of it. So when you get in, you know you're in a SKODA. It just has a SKODA badge, but it's very clever in here. Some clever little touches, like the little one-handed bottle opener thing here you can do in the middle as well. A 6-speed box in this, dual zone climate control in this, and a 10-inch screen, which is going to be optional in Ireland. It's probably going to be more like 8-inch in Ireland. And I have this heads-up display sort of infotainment system here in front of me, also probably going to be an option in Ireland. Cruise control is from mid-spec onwards. You have speed limiter. This one has USB-C for your phones and can be done with Google Android and Apple CarPlay. Both of them are included in this, plus a sat-nav as well. So there's a lot going on in this car. This one is top spec plus a few options on top of it as well. It's actually pretty good. Now, tell you what we do, let's get it out on the road and have a little spin in it and see what it's really like to drive.
As I've said, there are 3 engines and 3 models. The engines will be a 1 litre TSI with 95 or 115 horsepower, a 1.5 TSI with 150 horsepower, which is only available in the top spec model, and a 1.6 litre turbo diesel with 115 horsepower. It's this broad engine lineup that might make a difference, but still no mention of an electric version, but that may change by the end of the year. The 3 specs start with active, and that will have LED daytime running lights and rear LEDs, 6.5-inch swing infotainment system, aircon, 16-inch steel wheels and front electric windows. Ambition adds 16-inch alloys, front fog lights, height adjustable seats, armrests and cruise control. Style is the top spec and offers an 8-inch Bolero with rear camera, 17-inch alloys and many other goodies.
This is a 1 litre, a simple basic engine that just does its job. It's actually very nice to drive.
All of the petrol engines will come with a GPF or gasoline particulate filter, which takes harmful pollutants, traps the heavy stuff and puts out normal CO2, nitrogen and water. Then the catalytic converter does its job and we get cleaner petrol engines. But it remains to be seen if this will drive the price up.
It has to be in around the 21 grand mark. It can't be more expensive than that, because market forces is going to drive the price of this car down again. That becomes a problem straight away. So what are you going to get for your 21 grand? Well, probably not a whole lot, to be honest with you, car, but you can buy this engine that I'm driving around in for that kind of money. The 1.5 will be a little bit more expensive and the diesel will be a little bit more than that. I'd say the range will probably top out around the 27 to 28 grand mark, somewhere in that region. It has to for the diesel ones. A lot of kit involved in the top spec one. Not very much in the bottom spec one, but you're still going to get the handling, which is what I like in this car. The seating position is very good. The handling is actually quite tight. It really does hold the road very well. For a 1 litre, you'd be forgiven for thinking you're in something much, much bigger. So you can hear that little whizzy, I'm stuck behind a truck, but you hear the little whizzy engine whizzing away under the bonnet there. It's a lovely little engine. I have to say, they really have made some beautiful little refinements to it. The diesel feels entirely different, and the 1.5 TSI feels different again. More power, more horsepower, more torque. But other than that, I think the 1 litre actually does a really, really good job at just getting on with its deal, and it just works, and I like it for that. Now we're talking. Now a little 85 PS engine can just whiz along until I go into this tunnel. And of course I can't whiz along because it's a single lane tunnel, this is. Fucking hell, this is going to be tight. It's a single lane tunnel. Good man, you're doing well, you're doing well. Woo, that set off me controls. It all lit up in here. Wow, this is wild. This is like a roller coaster ride, this is. Cool. I'm in a 1 litre car having as much fun as I would be if I was in a Ferrari. Because you're using 100% of its power, and I'm totally confident that the car can handle these turns and corners. Oh my God, I've just turned to a different valley now. Wow, this is wild. Let's test the limits. See what I mean? 100% of its power is being used now. And you can see the cornering ability, the handling ability of the car is actually very good. And it's on these kind of weird surfaces they have here, this sort of asphalt stuff that they use over here a lot. And when you turn in, it's fairly crisp. It actually handles well through those corners, no matter what you throw at it. There's a massive switchback going up here right now. Here it is. We're going to turn in. We're going to turn in tighter. We're going to hold that corner, hold it, hold power back on, and she just rounds that corner, no problem. It's an amazing little car. It's actually not that little a car. It's actually quite a big car. This could end up being a future version of Golf 8. When you think about it, it's around the same size, same sort of chassis setup, that MQB being used again. It is a very pleasant little car to waft about in.
The very tight handling comes from the optional sport chassis control. This means the Scala can firm up the suspension through the corners while in sports mode.
This will be on sale in Ireland from June, so you'll be able to see it in your dealerships from around then, somewhere in that area. Like I said, I don't actually have the official prices yet, but you can expect to be a shade over 20 grand for the entry level one, but don't buy that one. Buy the mid-spec one. Mid-spec is going to give you the better options, a better few bits and pieces, and the car will be worth more in the future. Buy it in 1 litre in a manual preferably. The DSG box is fine, but it actually suits the diesel a little bit more than the petrol one. I like the petrol automatic as well. You can have this 1 litre in a DSG box, which would be, if you live in a city, that's the one to go for as well. We'll definitely hear an awful lot more about Scala before the end of this year, without a shadow of a doubt. Hopefully you learned everything you need to know about the SKODA Scala for the near future. Maybe not necessarily for your market, but you certainly did for Ireland, which means I should have deserved a subscribe from you at this point. You know, if you hit the little red button and click the little bell beside that, what happens is you get a notification whenever I do the Sunday service, which happens every Sunday. Don't forget that. Ooh, that's a big corner. I often try to put my smug face on these kind of things, but it doesn't always work out. I don't know what that says over there. Sorry if it's offensive. No profit over homeland. Anyway, I'm quite smug about the look of this car. I really do enjoy this little car. I do wish it all the best when it goes on sale in Ireland. I think it should find many a good home in Ireland, because it's a clever car again from Skoda, back to being that simply clever tag that I quite like. I'm going to pull over and do a bit of sightseeing without cats this time. Hopefully you have enjoyed this review and you have clicked the subscribe button. If at any time you've got a question, you can hit me on bobflav@thenextgear.com, or get your questions in for the Sunday service, which happens every Sunday on this channel. So click the subscribe button, click the bell button, and we can just be best friends from there on out. So until the next time, I will see you on the far side. Should the handbrakes on? Roll away here. Let's go and have a look at it. Shut up! I can't turn the engine off because it turns off the sat nav. I don't know where I am then, and that's it. Ooh. You're rolling again, rolling again.
Scoochie. Scoochie, scoochie.
That's still rolling, yeah.